My name is Daniel Nelson. I'm a resident of Perry and Denniston, Brigham City. And yes, sodium fluoride is a poison, and so is water. If you drink too much of it, it will kill you. If you drink too much water, if you take too much fluoride into you, you will die. I mean, it's a fact. And we brush our teeth with it every day. And there's already fluoride in the water to a certain percentage. All we are really wanting is an adjustment of the fluoride in the water, of the percentage. And in fact, almost all the pop that you drink, half the bottled water. Some bottled water doesn't have it, but a lot of bottled water does. Canned goods have it. So there's already fluoride in the water in some form or another. So when you're looking for a recommendation about the amount that you're going to put in the water, I wouldn't recommend 1 part per million. I would recommend 0.7 part per million, because the halo effect, that's what it's called, where you receive fluoride from other sources. It is true that fluoride does benefit children most, but there's a 27% caries reduction in adults in communities that have water fluoridation. One of the things that I want to talk about is other nutrients that are in other products. I mean, we put folic acid in cereal because we want to prevent disease. We want to prevent neural tube defects. We put fluoride in the water because we want to prevent dental decay. From a business standpoint, it doesn't help me at all. You know, I wouldn't want fluoride in my water just from a business standpoint, because it wouldn't help me. But from an ethical standpoint, I think, you know, we have such a high percentage of other people, you know, over 70% of the U.S. is fluoridated right now. All the communities, they have been for 60 years. A lot of them have been for 60 years, so there's evidence to look at behind. If we were the first people to do it, then I would have a lot more caution. But we have 60 years to look behind. I don't see a lot of people complaining about it. I have a lot of complaints in the dental office about Perry residents not having fluoride. Parents come in and they say, well, we don't have any fluoride in the water. We need to do tablets. Tablets cost, the cheapest is $4 per person per month, all the way up until they're an adult. So the cost per person, and it, you know, is a lot more than doing water fluoridation. I haven't had any complaints about Brigham City being fluoridated. So that's all I have to present this time. Thanks.
Well, thank you. We appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Nancy Moyle, and I live just over north. And I don't have a lot to say about whether fluoridation itself is a great thing or a bad thing. There's a lot of studies showing that it's fabulous. There's equally as many studies showing that it's not fabulous and that there's harmful side effects. I'm not a scientist. I can't sort through which studies are correct and which studies aren't. But just speaking from personal choice, when you fluoridate the water, you take away my personal choice to not use fluoridation in my home. We brush our teeth, we floss our teeth. I have not had my kids swish with fluoride at the schools. I choose not to do fluoride on the off chance that some of the reports that I've read are correct. That's my choice. Now, if you fluoridate the water, I no longer have that choice without going and buying drinking water for my family, which is a lot more expensive than $4 a month fluoride pills. Somebody who wants to fluoridate can go get $4 a month fluoride pills. It's $1 more than the $3 per person number that Cindy talked about.
That's for a year, ma'am.
Okay, that's okay.
Oh, per year. Okay. But still, that's their option to do that if they want to, although I doubt that the $3 per year is accurate if we have to treat 5 different water sources instead of just one. That's just a thought. But that's just my opinion, that people who want fluoride can get it fairly inexpensively, a lot less expensive than I can go through getting drinking water that's not fluoridated. And I just think adding stuff, and I just like he said, there's fortified foods out there. Well, I choose not to buy some of those fortified foods because of what they're fortified with. But if you fluoridate my drinking water, I don't get that choice anymore. And there was one other thing. Oh, shoot, I lost it.
If you have something you forget, you can always just call in or just
And
call me.
I'll just email
Yeah, just
you
email.
if I
That'd be
remember
great.
what it was. But thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Louise Daniels, and I will just say ditto to what she just said. I totally agree with everything she said. My son did a study a few years ago for a high school class and talks about fluoride and how it's so toxic and the fluorosis that it causes over a long period of time, low doses over a long period of time definitely are harmful. And like she said, you can find studies on the web or internet for it, you can find stuff against it, but the bottom line is, why should we be forced to be medicated? We don't want it. So I agree with her. Here's a paper.
Put it right there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is that your son's actual paper?
Yeah.
Right. See, that's what we want, is to put our kids' papers to good use. Oh, yeah, the grade's not on there though, so we'll have
I don't know about it.
I'm Quindy Freeze, and I'm strongly against fluoride. I agree 100% with what Nancy said about it taking away our freedom of choice. I want to read to you two statements here. Fluoridation is the greatest case of scientific fraud of the century. That's by Robert Carton, PhD, former EPA scientist, 1992. Regarding fluoridation, the EPA should act immediately to protect the public, not just on the cancer data, but on the evidence of bone fractures, arthritis, mutagenicity, and other effects. William Marcus, PhD, senior EPA toxicologist, 1992. As been mentioned, there's numerous studies on the ill effects of fluoride and how it affects the body. The dentist back there had mentioned that too much fluoride is not good for you, and I agree with that 100%. I am somebody that drinks a lot of water, and if you put fluoride in the water, how is that going to affect me by drinking a lot compared to somebody who just drinks a little, just to get a little bit of protection for tooth decay? Another thing I want you to think about is, as I believe in God, and as I've seen you have a prayer at the beginning of your meeting, I feel that you must too, and I believe that God would want to do what's best for His children, and if He felt like a lot of fluoride in the water was good, it would have been there all along, because there's been people that lived thousands of years before us that didn't have to worry about adding extra fluoride in their water. If you go home and take a look at your toothpaste tube, you'll see on the back of it that it talks about the sodium fluoride that's in there, and it says right underneath it, warning, it says do not swallow. It says that if you swallow more than what's in your mouth, call a poison center immediately. And then it recommends that children under 6 be supervised by adults and that they don't use more than a pea-sized amount of fluoride. And there's reason for that, because too much fluoride is harmful for the body. And I just want you to kind of think about that as you make the decision that having fluoride in the water is going to cost, as was mentioned, but also I agree that those that have to take the precautions to get the fluoride out of the water will have a greater expense. Plus, they'll still have to pay the tax to pay for the fluoride. And one other thing is that not only if you fluoridate the water, it gets absorbed in the vegetables and anything you wash or cook with, and that's just extra fluoride that you're taking.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.